Upon the irradiated world of Baal, within the fortress monastery of the Blood Angels Space Marine chapter, and locked away within the depths of its librarius, there exists a set of documents known as the Scrolls of Sanguinius. These scrolls, written by the Blood Angels Primarch himself, detail the visions that Sanguinius had experienced over the course of his lifetime. It was thanks to his gift of foresight, a trait shared with his brother Conrad Kurz, the Primarch of the Night Lord's Legion, that Sanguinius was able to witness and chronicle events that were yet to unfold. One of the final events that Sanguinius witnessed was one that detailed a great apocalyptic battle between the Imperium and a great encroaching darkness. As the darkness threatened to consume the Emperor, a mighty and noble warrior clad in golden armour stood between the Master of Mankind and this darkness. Some modern scholars within the Blood Angels chapter believe that this was Sanguinius predicting his own death at the hands of the arch-traitor Horus Lupercal upon the vengeful spirit, as Sanguinius would indeed face the War Master and ultimately martyr himself. It was even claimed that Sanguinius's actions had managed to weaken Horus, which in turn would allow the Emperor to ultimately slay the traitor. Some within the chapter do not believe that this vision was about the fall of Sanguinius, nor do they believe that this darkness is referencing the ruinous powers, but have instead proposed that Sanguinius had in fact suffered a prophetic vision about the oncoming hive fleets of the Great Devourer, which would reap a toll of great devastation across the galaxy. But regardless of what this great darkness could be it Xenos or the powers of chaos, one question itself remains: just who exactly is this Golden Warrior? If this Golden Warrior is destined to defend the Emperor, then could he in fact be none other than one of the Emperor's own personal bodyguards, the golden-clad warriors of the Adeptus Custodes? The Custodes are elite transhuman warriors, and are known for being larger, stronger, and more skilled in combat than even the mighty warriors of the Adeptus Astartes. The greatest of their number are known as the Companions, and remain by the Emperor's side at all times, standing sentinel within the throne room of the Imperial Palace upon Terra, vigilant and ready to lay down their lives in order to protect the Master of Mankind in but a fraction of a second. What makes this unlikely, however, is that the scrolls themselves, as detailed within the novel Dante, do clarify that this Golden Warrior was surrounded by the warriors of the Custodes, as they fought to protect their lord and master. But perhaps in this regard, the Golden Warrior could be none other than a returning Constantine Valdor, the Captain General of the Legio Custodes during the time of the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. Valdor was noted to have disappeared following the Emperor's internment into the Golden Throne, along with all of his weaponry and armour. As such, the first Captain General of the Custodes returning in the Imperium's darkest hour to honour his vows and fight for and defend the Emperor would indeed be thematically appropriate during this apparent final battle. But another Golden Warrior who could very well arrive in this time of great need could be one of the living saints, such as Saint Celestine. As well as having golden armour, Celestine also possesses a holy aura which radiates from her as blindingly intense golden light. And not only that, but Celestine, like all living saints, will fight fiercely against insurmountable odds. While they know that they will die as a result, they are ready to martyr themselves for the greater glory of the Imperium, simply because, in their eyes, it is the will of the Emperor. Living saints have been known to appear in times of great desperation, with one such example being detailed within the novel Shroud of Night. Saint Celestine would descend from the skies of the world of Cedreca to lend her strength, skill, and awe-inspiring presence to the Adeptus Sororitas of the Order of the Crimson Tear and the Imperial Fists chapter of the Adeptus Astartes, as they fought to defend the world against a World Eater's invasion fleet. To a living saint, what greater and more holy mission could there be than fighting to defend the very God Emperor of humanity himself from an all-consuming darkness? But what if this Golden Warrior is in fact the Emperor himself, or at least an avatar of the Emperor? The Puritan Inquisitors known as Thorians study the interactions between consciousness and the energies of the warp, and as a result of their studies, they believe that the soul or spiritual essence of the Emperor can be transferred from his decaying body into a new, healthier host form. This perfect host for the Emperor's essence is known to Thorians as the Divine Avatar, and it is said that this avatar will be a divine, charismatic and almost saintly figure. To this end, these Inquisitors will scour the galaxy to search for suitable vessels of the Emperor's rebirth, though so far the Thorians have been unsuccessful in finding a suitable candidate. Despite the best intentions of the Thorian Inquisitors, the idea of transferring the Emperor's essence into a new body is considered to be a terrifying prospect for other members of the Inquisition. There is always the legitimate fear that the Divine Avatar might have or will become corrupted by the foul energies of chaos, or that a civil war between believers and non-believers could erupt should the Emperor be, in essence, reborn. But more importantly, the most terrifying possibility for the Inquisition is that if the Divine Avatar were to arise, then the Emperor could be killed once more, only this time potentially taking the Emperor's essence with it. Thus, some within the Inquisition have made it their duty to seek out possible Divine Avatars and either kill or subdue them. Commander Dante, the chapter master of the Blood Angels Space Marine chapter, believes himself to be the Golden Warrior detailed within this series of prophetic visions. Dante himself is notable for being one of the physically oldest and most experienced Astartes within the entirety of the Imperium, having commanded the Blood Angels for well over 1100 years at this point. Only a scant few beings within the Imperium can claim to be older, such as a few venerable and ancient warriors entombed within the sarcophagus of a dreadnought, such as Bjorn the Fell-Handed. Dante is an incredibly skilled and highly ferocious warrior, yet also maintains a great deal of discipline upon the battlefield. The chapter master is also famous for being clad within a gilded suit of power armour, as well as wearing a golden death mask cast in the image of his Primarch Sanguinius, a mask which he rarely removes. Dante's talents as a warrior, commander and politician are so well respected that the Primarch of the Ultramarines and Lord Commander of the Imperium, Rabute Guilliman, named Dante as the Regent of Imperium Nihilus. While Dante does indeed believe that the Golden Warrior of the Primarch's visions referred to him, this possibility is further supported within the novel Dante, when the Blood Angels chapter master reads through the scrolls of Sanguinius. As Dante examines these documents penned by his Gene Father, more details emerge about the Golden Warrior's potential identity, as demonstrated with the following passage.
The hunger came for my father. The puppets of the dark gods clashed with the hunger for the pleasure of killing him. There was a warrior in gold before the throne, surrounded by my father's custodians and other heroes who, mighty though they were, paled next to the lords of our days. There they fought, and there they died. The vision ended as the devourer of flesh and the devourers of souls closed in on my Lord and Creator. There was despair only. Despair and more despair. But before I woke something more, I sensed stirring in the warp and the touch of my father, his mind made anew, and the knowledge that all might be well. I do not know who this golden warrior was. He appeared similar to my herald, but I saw my own face depicted upon his mask, but he was not me. and he wore a form of armour I do not know. It is certain that he was one of my sons, and whether his sacrifice will prove to be in vain or not, I know this, that he was a noble warrior, true and purer than any of his age, and I loved him for that. For it means that my works for the Emperor, at least, have not been undertaken in vain, and that my unavoidable death might also prove fruitful.
This would seem to suggest that the Golden Warrior is indeed Dante, due to this figure wearing a mask that bore the very visage of Sanguinius, although Dante would show discomfort at what he perceived to be the vainglory of casting himself as such a messianic figure. But Dante was not the only being to wear a mask that sported the facial features of the Blood Angels Primarch. As such, there is another potential candidate to the Golden Warrior's identity, the mysterious figure known as the Sanguinor. The Sanguinor is a mystifying entity to those who sport the gene seed of Sanguinius, an almost mythological golden figure who arrives during the chapter's times of greatest need, such as during the devastation of Baal, when the Sanguinor arrived alongside the beings known as the Legion of the Damned to stand against the hordes of High Fleet Leviathan. Some have speculated that the Sanguinor itself is the very soul of Sanguinius given form, while others believe that he is a benevolent warp entity, possibly even a demonic minion of the Emperor himself. Others, however, believe that he is the first of the Sanguinary Guard, Azkaellon, and others still postulate that he could be the reborn form of a being from the time of the Horus Heresy, known simply as the Herald, who would indeed be the first being to become known as the Sanguinor. As he arrives in times of great need, then one could easily assume that the Sanguinor himself could come to the Emperor's defense, in a similar vein to how Sanguinius himself did. Dante also notes that many who studied the scrolls of Sanguinius believe that this Golden Warrior could indeed be the Sanguinor. The Blood Angels have fought in the defense of the Imperial Palace upon Terra once before, and perhaps at some point within the future, they may do so again, with the Sanguinor appearing to make his final stand in defense of the Emperor of mankind. Until this unknown force of darkness marches upon Terra, we will not know who or what this Golden Warrior is. Who do you think the Golden Warrior is? Dante, the Sanguinor, or someone else? Leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.